Ryan, unmute your mic.
You ain't even say nothing, Joe. Joe, you ain't even say nothing.
Hey, I looked at it. I said, hey,
let's talk
I'm gonna
about
show
this
you.
right now.
No, that's showing you what kind of rookie cookie I am, because I'm looking around and saying, "Is that me? Is that me?" I'm searching everything to make sure it was not me.
I apologize.
I see you are screaming. I hear you, but goodness gracious.
So let's reenact what's going on real quick. I'm literally saying, "Oh, y'all are too kind. Y'all are too kind." I got my applause going in my head. I'm talking to the audience. I'm hyping them up. I'm like, "Oh, Joe, they're getting hype. Oh, Joe, they're going crazy." And you can't hear nothing I'm saying.
Nothing you're saying, brother. Nothing you're saying. But I did see that you were hype. You were hyped. I said, what's going on. You're too hyped for the scene right now. I love it, brother. I love it.
I'll tell you exactly what's going on, okay? It's your boy, One Life Stu, Ryan Stewart. We got to thank God every minute of every day. Thank you all for pulling up and joining your boys. One Life Stu and Joe Ham. This is the Joe Show on Stewart Media and Entertainment. Joe, good to see you as always, man. I'm very excited about talking to you. And part of what just happened, man, was this time of year, I do a lot of reflecting. Yeah, holidays coming around. Kids' schedules getting different. No soccer. We didn't do tennis today. No piano. I mean, so the day is a whole lot easier. And I do a lot of reflecting. I do a lot of reading. I do a lot of meditating. And today I've just had this real huge day of gratitude and appreciation. Okay.
Hey, let me tell you something. That gratitude thing is a superpower. That's a superpower. Some can fly, some can turn into a strength machine, some can just drive, do a lot of gadgets. But that gratitude thing right there, and you also showed me two things: gratitude and the ability to laugh at yourself. If you don't have the ability to laugh at yourself, man, you need to find some way or somehow to be able to do that.
I'm going to have a good time every day. And most days I'm not around people other than the family. And when the family's at school, I'm in this house by myself most of the day, getting done and doing what I need to be doing. But I laugh at myself and talk to myself as if I'm in a room full of people all day long.
Man, you put me.
It's a movie over here. Trust me.
I thought about you just in depth just then, Stu, when you said that you're going to laugh. A lot of people don't know, man, about 20, 25 years ago, you were on a stage with comedics. You took your talents to be on the stage and entertain as a comedian. So you're talking about being able to laugh at yourself and knowing what's funny and what's not funny. I applaud you for that, man. You are a man of many talents.
Listen to me when I tell you that there's nothing tougher. I've done a lot of things. Your boy's a thespian. Your boy done been on stages, done a few plays. Your boy done a couple of extra parts and move. I mean, I've done a lot of things. NFL, college. I've never been like this in my life until you stand on the stage in front of about 250 people and there's a beam that's just on you. You can't see nobody and they all just waiting for you to talk to make them laugh. Let me tell you something. That is a tough damn job, and I applaud everybody that does it. I'm cool with a lot of comedians, Ham. Oh man, I really, really am in awe of their talent because it's truly a talent, fam. It really is.
I respect those guys like no other. Like I know a playbook in football. They know their jokes and they know how to entertain a crowd. That's a gift. That's a skill set, and it's hardly developed at a late stage.
Right. I love it. Your boy, One Last Stu, Ryan Stewart, Joe Hamilton hanging out. It's the Joe Show. We're going to jump right into things, Joe. I mentioned things being changed around here when it comes to scheduling. And I see Ollie's in here. I wonder if Ollie want to say hello. Ollie want to say hello? She's like, no, not really.
No, I don't.
Ollie, I don't think you've ever met Joe Ham. Joe, meet Ollie Michelle. Ollie Michelle, this is the great Hall of Famer himself, Joe Hamilton.
Ollie, how are you doing?
How are you?
Outstanding.
Listen, I was just cute a minute ago. If the people saw me on the No Show, I was just cute. But I was sitting here, I was talking to Nadia at the end of the show, and
I'm sorry. I don't know what I've done. I'm sorry. I apologize.
You stand like this so they can
that.
see. Well, you said it. I was like, and I was trying to go over. I was on you. I was watching and texting on YouTube. I was like, oh.
I understand. I apologize. But thank you for blessing us with
Nice
your
to meet
beauty
you,
for a little while. And
Pleasure's mine.
if you do want to chime in, just hit us in the chat room. We'll pull you in. We're going to have some topics outside of sports for a second, I'm sure.
Before you push me out, I just want to say, Ryan and people like Ryan, and the reason I can't get no man, they be catching me off guard. God dog it.
Patience is a virtue.
I'm wrong for that. I'm sorry. She's still fly. It don't matter. She can have her head.
Absolutely. My goodness.
It don't matter. We appreciate y'all hanging out with your boy, One Last Two, Ryan Stewart and Joe Hamilton for the Joe Show. Just two country boys from Alvin, South Carolina, and Moco about to chop it up with some sports. Big news in the ATL, Ham. And this is the Joe Show, so I'm going to share my thoughts, but they're going to be very, very minuscule compared to what you're going to do. We're here for your thoughts and to get your opinions on all this stuff. Falcons make some changes, man. Kirk Cousins is gone. He's on the bench. They're sitting him down. We'll talk about it tomorrow morning on the Two Live Stews Experience, me and Doug Stewart. But tonight, what's your thoughts on Kirk Cousins getting signed? When he got signed, what was your opinion? I need that briefly before we get into the nuts and bolts of tonight's conversation.
Well, your back was against the wall. You had, for the Atlanta Falcons, you had a team that had a running back in place. You had a team with a #1 wide receiver in Drake London that you kind of drafted early. They needed a quarterback, a true quarterback to get him the ball. And Desmond Ridder wasn't the answer. Taylor Heineke wasn't the answer. But you needed that. You needed to turn the corner. Kyle Pitts being drafted 4th overall. You needed somebody to put those guys over the hump. And Kirk Cousins was that guy. He was the #1 quarterback in free agency. And my thought was, that's a great signing. That's a great signing because Zach Robinson, a new offensive coordinator, first time calling plays. He's from the West Coast type system, the same system in which Kevin Stefanski ran at Minnesota. Kirk Cousins is going to feel comfortable running that system. And I had a little bit of trepidation when you say that Achilles injury. But I thought that maybe he could work in the rehab and the throwing it. When I watched his workout, when he was throwing it, I know that could be manufactured. Those YouTube workouts, the way you're showing guys and you're trying to make sure these GM knows that I'm healthy, that kind of got me fooled, to be honest with you, Ryan Stewart. And also I would add to it that I did say, my goodness, 4 years, 180, that's a lot of money for Kirk Cousins. And I also did say that, my God, Kirk Cousins and his agent, they are taking guaranteed money to the bank. But as far as skills diminishing, I did not see this coming. And I don't know, in my 47 years of living on this earth, that I've never watched a quarterback diminish right before my eyes like Kirk Cousins.
And we talked about that earlier today, man. When it comes to his earnings and what he's made, right shy of $300 million, the majority of it guaranteed money. He's played 14 games for the Falcons. He's been benched. More than likely, he will not return. I mean, Michael Penix has to stink it up for Kirk Cousins to ever see the field in a Falcons uniform again. And he'll make $90 million from that 14 games. $90 million, okay?
Yes.
Him getting benched, that's over. He's sitting down. Penix is coming in. What's your thought on the benching and your thoughts on Penix being our new starting quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons?
Well, here's my thought. My thoughts, plural, is the fact that first and foremost, Kirk Cousins forced Raheem Morris and that offensive staff, offensive coordinator, Zach Robinson, to bench him. They had no other chance. They had no other. It would be malpractice. It would be coaching malpractice if we had saw Kirk Cousins line up against the Giants this week. A lot of people, including myself, said that it could have been done halftime of this past game.
I didn't want him in there to start the Oakland game.
Yeah, and he could have also been benched. You gave him a chance, and he could have been benched during halftime of the Oakland game because that's how he was playing. I mean, I'm sorry, the Las Vegas Raiders. That's how he was playing. And I check this out, Stu. The game plan was so safe for Kirk Cousins to perform. They wanted to. And what that says to me, and it's screaming that since we paid you $90, $100 million guaranteed, we're going to try our best to make this work. We're going to try to fool Ryan Stewart and Joe Hamilton like they don't know football, that y'all can try to cover it up, that this guy cannot move. He sees ghosts in the pocket. He cannot put any imp or zip on the football. He does not have any back foot plant. As I coach quarterbacks and I've been in the pocket and I know how you put zip on the ball when you're trying to fit it in between a window, a tight window throw. He doesn't have that confidence at all. So why you had to bench him? Because, Stu, the locker room. The locker room is saying at this point, guys, if you're not going to bench him, then who will you bench? This play is not earning the right for us to go out there and work each and every day and have Kirk Cousins playing that awful. And I would say again, he was playing awful. Absolutely
terrible, man. As you mentioned a little while ago, you hadn't seen someone diminish right in front of your eyes like this ever. I can't think of it happening either. I called him again prior to the season. I called him again after the first 2 games. And then I jumped on team Kirk Cousins. I'm not even going front. I was a bandwagon jumper. Call me leapfrog. But I saw him continue to do nothing. I saw him not be able to move the pocket. All right. Are you happy about Michael Penix being the starter now? And what do you think he's going to be doing this week on the field when they get out there?
I'm so happy that Michael Penix Jr. is the starter now. And I'm so happy, however it transpired, that he was not the starter at the beginning of the season. I don't know if he was going to come out and light the world on fire as a rookie, starting 14 games that Kirk Cousins started. But to sit back, to learn, to be in a post-meeting room after a ball game and to dissect film and hear Kirk Cousins, just look at mistakes, learn from the mistakes, the combo coverages that's ran in the NFL, he's able to see that on the film. And I'm going to tell you one thing Michael Penix Jr. has not forgotten about is how to play football. So now come Sunday, all he's going to go back to playing football, which is going to be 100 yards long, 53 and a third wide, and that is it. When you talk about rookies developing and seeing the game and the game slowing down, that's about coverages. That's about the speed of the game, knowing your huddle, command, all those things. He has that. Let me reiterate, 48 games this guy started in college. This guy's played the last 2 games at Washington, not even injured.
You mentioned 48 games he played in college. I'm glad you brought that up. I'm sorry for cutting you off, Joe. You mentioned 48 games he played in college. I think there's a high number of rookies that have been forced to get out there this season. Michael Penix Jr. is not one of them, okay? What kind of vision do you have in comparison to what you think he's going to do versus the other rookies that's already been playing 14 games this year? You think he's going to be like a Caleb? You think he's going to be like a Bo Nix? You think he's going to be like a Derek May? Or you think we're going to see something different in Michael Penix Jr.?
Well, I don't think he's going to be like a Drake May, because Drake May, he's impressed me thus far. The record doesn't show it. Maybe his stats does not show it. But I know the Patriots offensively, they're struggling. So that's why Drake May is struggling, but the potential is there. He's not happy feet in the pocket. He does not have happy feet in the pocket. He's going to be quite fine. I see somewhat of a Bo Nix. I see somewhat of a Jaden Daniels. Not Jaden Daniels being the rookie of the year and taking, the NFL by storm because he set rookie records. Look at the team around him. I'm talking about Michael Penix Jr. That's why I think he's going to succeed, because you have a running back. You can go through the running back. You can have that offensive line that loves to maul guys. They love to maul guys and come out low back and just drive guys down the field. He's going to be flourishing off that play action that the West Coast offense is all about. And, oh, by the way, I haven't had a chance to judge the new OC, first-year OC, and Zach Robinson, because his playbook shrunk. With Kirk Cousins as his quarterback, he was not able to call the things he wanted to call. So now you're going to see stretching down the field. You're going to see deep threats vertically. You're going to see horizontal field stretching because Penix can throw it from one hash to the other. So I expect, again, you're going to have to gradually bring him along. You remember against the Las Vegas Raiders, that game plan that Kirk Cousins, they laid out for Kirk Cousins, I expect some of the same type game plan with Michael Penix Jr. Under 20 throws, feed off that running game, play action when it's open, but you're going to look and see a quarterback that's not going to have happy feet, and he's not going to ball up in the pocket when pressure comes at his way.
Hey, man, you just used the old school term from Alvin, South Carolina. He's not going to ball up in the pocket. When you say a quarterback is balling up in the pocket, Joe, what do you mean when you say a quarterback is balling up in the pocket?
I mean that a rusher, even though he's blocked, a rusher can approach him, and because somebody's near his feet, he's going to go down, head down, and he's going to crumble. Actually, literally crumble like an old man, fall down. So that again, he's not going to make a play. That's no pocket awareness. And the Falcons are handicapped, Stu. They're handicapped because you can't trade Kirk Cousins. There's not 30 other teams or even about 15, 20 other teams that want Kirk Cousins and $27 million. You don't want him. You don't want him. So the same things that Michael Penix Jr. is a better quarterback than Kirk Cousins is right now. Forget about before the season. Forget about all those things. Michael Penix Jr. gives the Atlanta Falcons a better shot, a better chance to win. And I see him with a coach because we don't quite know about Zach Robinson yet. We don't quite know, but I know about that offensive line. And I want to add something else, too. You're going to see the opposite of a offense. Now this offense is going to be right-handed dominant, meaning you're going to have your slant routes, your curl routes come from the right side of the football field, on the right side of the formation.
Left tackle's the Matthews kid, correct? The generational player.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Jake
so
Matthews.
now he's not the strength of the offensive line now. What you're saying is the right tackle will be the strength of the offensive line now.
The right tackle will be the strength of the offensive line and the most important player on the offensive line, because Michael Penix Jr. is going to just trust you with everything that he has. That my blind side is what we call it, is protected. That's what you cannot see. So in the future, we're not going in the future as far as next year, but look forward the Atlanta Falcons to be trying to upgrade their right tackle situation to be able to protect Michael Penix Jr. This is a total failure by Terry Fontenot. Well, I say this: can you pass and fail on the same thing?
You can ride the fence on certain situations. You're not supposed to. You're supposed to put your foot in the ground and say, this is what it is. But in some situations in sports, you can ride the fence, in my humble opinion.
Well, I'm just speaking facts now, and it's not necessarily riding the fence, Stu, but I want to say this to you. Terry Fontenot blew it, and he was a genius, okay? He blew it in the fact that he trusted in Kirk Cousins being right. He trusted in Kirk Cousins' Achilles is going to be healthy, and he was going to be the quarterback that he was before he got that injury in Minnesota, leading the lead in passing, on his way to MVP, and signing him to $100 million. That's a genius move. I mean, that's a bust now. But the genius move is he covered his butt. He covered his butt with the 8th overall pick. Yeah, that everybody talked about, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? And it might turn out, and I think it's going to turn out, that Michael Penix Jr. is going to save Terry Fontenot's job by really going out there and excelling.
What is Arthur Blank thinking right now? Of course, he's in on everything that's happened, but it is hard when he's home in the mirror thinking about the $100 million that's walking up the door after 14 games. What is he thinking? Can the sins be washed away if Penix Jr. gets our damn balls?
No. I mean, this is going to have to be a learning experience. This is going to have to be an experience that where Arthur Blank is going to do more research when you want to spend $100 million on a man that it tore his Achilles. Now, on a man that sprained his ankle, on a man that, kind of roughed up his elbow, missed 4 weeks, or on IR just for 4 weeks at the end of the season, yes. But more research needed to be done. And shame on me, too, because I was fooled. And not only that, Kirk Cousins came back against Philadelphia Eagles early in the season. He had an overtime 500-yard game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which he won.
And I forgive you because you're right. You're right. I've never seen a player diminish like this from the start of the season within 14 games. He went from, oh, my God, this dude is hurt, he shouldn't be here, to, oh, my God, he's balling. He's getting the ball out. He's getting the ball down the field. And now he's just like, the last month hadn't done it. He's been throwing ducks. He's been throwing ducks. And like you said, he's been balling up. And quarterbacks, especially dudes that's making, $49 million in 2 years, they don't ball up.
No, they don't ball up. And you know what? As a competitor that I am, Kirk Cousins, he's not upset. He's not going to gripe. He's not going to, have short answers with the media.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
No, but he's going to own up to it. I know you won't. I won't either, because but that's going to eat at him that he got benched. but Kirk Cousins know that he cannot protect himself. Kirk Cousins knew when he did his post-game presser after Monday night that, man, this might be over. Because another thing that he saw each and every day, Michael Penix with that velocity on that left-handed cannon that he has, his awareness, the way he's eating up the playbook and he's ready to go, chomping at the bit to go in. Right. Kirk Cousins knows all those type things.
I'm going to talk about it more tomorrow morning with Doug on the Two Last Stews experience at 7 o'clock on www.twolaststewsyoutube.com as well as twolaststewsfacebook.com, the same platform you're watching right now. But what do you see Penix Jr. doing versus the Giants this weekend?
I see Penix only throwing the ball under 20 times a game. I mean, this game, I see him going 14 for 20. $177 and a touchdown.
We need to feature the backs more anyway. They got too loosey goosey with Kirk Cousins after he threw that thing for 500 yards. There was times where we got backs to get the job done because all you need is 3, 4, 5 yards of pop and you can move the ball down the field. So that's why I think this is the perfect situation for Penix. I mean, they're not going to put too much on him, and they're not going to have the playbook so wide open that he's going to be lost out there. He's going to have full command of the offense that he's on the field with. I think he's going to do outstanding, Joe.
And you're right. And I ask the question to myself, what does outstanding look like for Michael Penix Jr.? And outstanding looks like to me in control of the huddle, making sure he's not running the ball in those check with me's where you have a run pass option. He's not running the ball in the eight-man front. He's not passing the ball when it's too high. He knows how to get in and out of a bad play and make it a good play. The simplest things. And I think if he's efficient, hand the ball off, play action, and the ball is going to go downfield. He's a confident thrower. The game is not going to be too big for him. And the Falcons need to run the ball. I think it looks like 35 runs and maybe 22, 24 passes. That is it, because you want him to get into a groove. And here's how it goes, dude. Here's how it goes. On Saturday morning for the Atlanta Falcons, Zach Robinson and everybody, the offensive staff, is going to sit down with Michael Penix Jr., and they're going to ask him, we had a week of practice. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you feel comfortable with. And whatever he does not feel comfortable with, they're going to throw out. They're not going to call that against the Giants at all.
Please remember what you're saying and go back and finish your thought, okay? Please remember that. But I want to remind the viewers and the listeners that I think about Joe's playing career more than he does. I guarantee it, okay? And he was in a meeting room with Peyton Manning. He's been in a meeting room with Tony Dungy. I mean, so what he's saying and what he's talking about is not just somebody talking sports talk. He was in the room with Peyton Manning for a year, or was it 2, Joe?
2 years. No, just
2
a year.
years.
Just a year. And I want to add to that. Stu. And I got that mentality, and I got the quarterback-friendly play calling from John Gruden. From John Gruden. He was so outstanding with it. He was so fired up, and he was such a great play caller and loved the ball so much that he would be like, ooh-wee, look what kind of game plan that I have in store for you guys. Talking about the quarterbacks. I have a deep passing game. I have a short to intermediate game. We got play action in this. But then on Saturday, that meeting, what I'm talking about on Saturday, if a quarterback hesitated about answering any questions, they felt a little bit of drawing back from that play call that he had implemented, he would trash it. He would say, nope, not going to call it. You wouldn't have to worry about that coming in your helmet. I'm not going to call it. So Michael Penix is going to feel comfortable with every single play call that's going to be called on Sunday afternoon.
Whose room did you take more out of, Joe? Ralph Friedgen's room or John Gruden's room?
Ooh, Ralph Friedgen's room. Ralph Friedgen's room, because Ralph Friedgen taught me more of the why he's doing things. And John Gruden was very detailed, but when you get into the NFL, most of those NFL coaches think you know it already, or you should know some basic concepts. But Ralph Friedgen taught me about why we are running a curl flat. He taught me about why we're running the outside zone versus the inside zone. He taught me about the leverage and how to protect one guy and leaving another guy free, because the quarterback, and that's another thing about protections too, I want to get into right quickly, is the fact that With Kirk Cousins, everybody had to be right on that offensive line and the back blitz pickup and the offensive coordinator calling the right play. But with Michael Penix Jr., and I know he's not Lamar Jackson, but his pocket awareness, his foot movement in the pocket that I saw at Washington, he can elude that free blitzer. He's not going to panic in the pocket. He has enough athletic ability to buy you some more time and deliver it downfield with velocity. So that's going to free up some more play calling that you're not worried about a guy that cannot protect himself in the pocket.
And listen to this, Joe. It's your boy, One Last Stu, Ryan Stewart, helping Joe co-host the Joe Show on Stewart Media Entertainment. I think this will be the first time that Michael Penix Jr. will have been this healthy in the last 3 to 4 years. He's been on ice. He's been sitting. He's been training. He's been rehabbing. He's been getting strong. He's been rebuilding and working on range of motion and everything that has ailed him in the last 2 or 3 years. And playing banged up in a championship game last year. He is going to be totally healthy, and I think that's going to be good for his physical and mental out there on that football field.
You can't tell this to a lot of rookies because everybody wants to get on the football field and play, especially Caleb Williams and being the number 1 overall pick. But to me, this is the perfect script for a rookie quarterback. Sit down a little bit, watch the veteran perform, watch the veteran go about his daily, steady habits, be able to talk to the media, have media availability, be able to handle family members, the vigorous task of being an NFL quarterback, and then come in late in the season. And I would tell you 2 examples that I love. Josh Allen, maybe the MVP of this year NFL. He sat this first year. He played later on, but he sat. That development, he would tell you, just to get his feet wet a little bit in that first year, boded very well for him. Lamar Jackson, same thing under Joe Flacco. He sat, and then Joe Flacco got a little bit banged up. Lamar Jackson went in there. He struggled. He took his lumps. The next year, he was a highlight reel. So those are the things that those quarterbacks can learn when you're not throwing into the fire with a bad team. And I think it's wrecked right now, some of these young guys that get thrown in the fire early.
We've been talking about a lot of quarterbacks tonight. We're going to talk about Mike Vick here in a second. Now, don't worry about the break, man. We're just going to go straight through. And also, let me bring the Dread in. What up, Dread? Tell everybody, hey, I think you spoke earlier.
Yeah, what's happening, man? Same suit, just reheated. Y'all already know.
But before we move on, I saw you nodding a couple of times. Go ahead and get a nod or 2 off your chest before we change the subject, Dread.
Well, from a fan's perspective, I think Michael Penix going in as a starter was definitely the right move to make. And maybe even from a locker room perspective. But I know from that general manager's perspective, he would have loved to have Kirk Cousins play it out because we're talking about dead cap space after you let Kirk Cousins go next year. And I might even consider keeping him because I know I need 2 good quarterbacks. I need a backup.
I'm glad you brought that up because Joe alluded to this a little earlier. You know what makes the cap and the economics of the game when it really affects the game like this does. Doug and I debate it all the time. The economics of the game is a big part of a lot of how and why certain decisions are made. Okay, it is what it is. These cats are billionaires because of a reason.
Right.
Okay, so that being said, Blank got it. Yeah, I know how it works, and I know it relegates what you can do, needing assets on the team versus just having all the money in one. I get all of that. But when it comes to decisions like this, I don't let it bother me. I think about the wins and the losses more than anything.
Yeah, but Stu, first of all, you saying Blank got it, but this is a salary cap issue.
Yeah,
I understand.
Right. So this is going to hurt your potential to sign good defensive players or another offensive player, maybe a lineman going forward, because you got to pay somebody who's not even going to be on your roster.
Right.
And
but
let me make one quick point real quick.
Okay.
This past week, the Falcons played the Raiders. I don't care how bad Kirk Cousins looked. The Falcons was going to beat the Raiders. The Raiders can't afford to win. This week, you have the Giants. The Giants cannot afford to win. Considering, and I'm just talking about from a general manager's point of view. I know he felt pressure from Raheem Morris, but from a general manager's point of view, Kirk Cousins can win this game. I might have gave Kirk Cousins this game to see if he can get back on track because I know once I
you didn't give him a month.
Yeah,
you didn't give him a month.
Dre.
You didn't give him a month, and he sucked the last month. You went from being first place by yourself alone and having the advantage of a team that's now leading the division to losing 4 games straight and almost losing to Vegas. Nadi, Vegas could have won that game. Vegas was one snap and one pass away from winning that game.
Yeah, but Vegas wasn't going to win that game, just like the Giants are not going to win this game because
it don't work. We don't get to decide who going to win the game, Nadi. I watched the whole game.
Now you're forgetting about one crucial thing. Now you're forgetting about one crucial thing, and I see where you're coming from, but you're forgetting about the locker room. You're forgetting about the locker room. Yeah, I understand what you're saying about Terry Fontenot, and they want Kirk Cousins. They want to be, hey, I paid this money. We paid this money. Let's let's not have egg on our face. But the egg is on your face. The egg is already on your face. So now you're going to have to look at Drake London, when he's running his wide open route and he's running a curl, he's running a hitch, and this quarterback cannot get the ball to him. Now you have other guys frustrated in the locker room, and they're wondering, are you going to give me this same type of leeway when I mess up and I'm not getting the job done? Are you going to keep on letting me go out there and jog out there and modify a game plan just to make me look good? I don't think that. And I'll say one thing too, Nadi. I say one thing again. To me, I'm with Stu, but I don't care about anything. It's going to be a salary cap hit regardless. Kirk Cousins is not going to be on my team next year. Kirk Cousins is not going to be on my team next year, and this is why. I understand you're saying that you want to have 2 quarterbacks. A backup quarterback is nice to have. Yes, you're right. But in my humble opinion, Kirk Cousins cannot play anymore. So, yes, you want to have 2 quarterbacks, but Kirk Cousins, he's washed up. He's done. I mean, he's done as far as getting in the pocket, arm strength. He's a statue back there. With all, if he made $200 million, what I'm seeing on the football field is that's a washed up 36-year, 37-year-old quarterback.
I'm going to dig a little bit deeper, man. I'm going to dig just a little bit deeper, Dred. Just a little bit deeper. And Nadi, please, I really hope you remember what you were going to say. I'm sorry.
Right, I got to go ahead.
There's about 5 to 10 players on that team that are never, ever suited to play football again. They deserve to win every goddamn game they play in.
Right,
and
I agree.
When you got Penix on the sideline and everybody sees and knows what he can do, he's an 8th pick overall, which is players that play. Guys that get drafted 8th overall start. They play. In the first round, the first 15 players got to contribute to your team's success immediately. They can't keep him out there when he's playing the way he's played the last month, and you're losing ground every single game he loses. You got a guy that's got 16 turnovers and still you're still in a position to win. He got 16 turnovers, most in the league, and a player that's better than him, and we see him weekly. I can't leave that player on the sideline.
Oh, trust me, I'm not disagreeing with you guys. You guys make good points, definitely coming from the locker room perspective and a fan perspective. But from Terry Fontenot perspective, Joe, do you think that the Kirk Cousins debacle is a fireable offense, considering the dead cap money that the Falcons are going to have for the next 2 years? Not just next year. They're going to be paying Kirk Cousins for at least 2 more years.
Yes, Dred, very good question, and that's why I was on a little bit on the fence a little bit earlier. It's a fireable offense, but he can get back in good graces if Michael Penix Jr. lives up to the billing. Lives up to the billing because, again, that's under his watch as well. So he kind of really hedged his bet going out there and getting Kirk Cousins and paying him, or Arthur Blank allowed him to pay all that money, and then again having a fallback plan. But I say this to you also, Dred, that if you kept Kirk Cousins in there, you were gonna make 2 people look real bad. You were gonna make Raheem Morris look very, very bad. That you can't coach. You don't have the wherewithal to make the big time ballsy decision, and you're gonna make Zach Robinson look bad because you have to go out there with a shrink up or a modified playbook because you're trying to cover up a quarterback. So now when they're wondering, hey, man, what's wrong with Zach Robinson? I thought he had more tools in his toolbox. I thought he was more explosive. What happened to the Rams, Sean McVay type of offense? He's saying, hey, man, I don't have a trigger guy. I can't have a trigger guy. So, yeah, the money is there, but I'm forgetting about the money now. I'm talking about let's win games, and I cannot destroy my locker room. Free agents are watching. Free agents are looking. They're seeing how this team is ran, and will you do the right decision for the team? So, yeah, man. And then again, Kirk Cousins, man, he's balling up. Kirk Cousins. And the reason why you put Kirk Cousins, or you started Kirk Cousins outside of the money before Michael Penix Jr., the game has slowed down for him. He's able to diagnose different coverages. He can read the fronts. He can play faster, supposedly, because of all his knowledge. None of that is come to fruition in the last 5 weeks, maybe a month and a half.
You're going to think I'm being funny or trying to be funny. We can stop with all the Kirk Cousins talk. He's done here. He shouldn't take up no more of our time.
Right.
And I got to make sure in the morning, we don't give him this much goddamn time. He don't deserve it. He don't deserve it. He's done nothing to get the last 5 minutes of our conversation, and that's what he's done. We know there's a younger, stronger, better, faster guy that's able to move the pocket, guy that's going to recognize things more. We're going to get more of the guy that's coming in. Now, we're probably going to take a lump or two, but we can't just accept the losing.
You're correct.
You can't ever accept the losing. And when it comes to it being a fireable offense, who made the decisions? Okay, you know what's happened. It's on your watch. It is what it is. But we just can't stick with something that's clearly bad and not working, and have something possibly better on the sideline. Joe, let's finish the conversation by talking about your thoughts on the season that will finish for the Falcons because of this move. 7-7 now. What do you see happening?
I see those guys going 9-8. I think you're going to lose to the Washington Commanders, just like Nadia alluded to. You're going to beat the Giants this week, and you're also going to beat the Panthers at the end of the year. So that's going to have Michael Penix Jr. going 2-1, losing to the Commanders, because I think the Commanders are a better team, and the Commanders, they're going to still be playing for something. And also the Atlanta Falcons are going to be playing for something as well, because who knows if the Bucs finish up and win their last 3 games, who knows, which they are playing very, very good ball. But I think the Commanders are playing better up front, have the rookie of the year, in my opinion, and Jaden Daniels that's playing lights out. Scary Terry on the outside is a Pro Bowl wide receiver. So, but 2-1 to finish the season, but also we are very happy. And they missed the playoffs. And they do miss the playoffs, but we are going to be very, very happy about the future, because Michael Penix Jr., he's going to look apart. He's going to have the command like the number 8 overall draft pick. And, oh, by the way, I had him as the 2nd overall quarterback coming out of this draft behind Jaden Daniels, because of the way the ball came out, because of his pocket awareness, because of his accuracy on the deep ball and intermediate ball. So I think we're going to be very satisfied seeing Michael Penix Jr., and the future is going to look very bright. But the Falcons are going to go 2-1.
One last to your boy Ryan Stewart, Joe Show, the Joe Show. Right here on Stewart Media Entertainment. A couple of chat out of the chat room. KK Ash says that injury is no joke. We've talked about that a lot. Not only is that injury no joke, guys approaching 40 years old. Now, I'll say this. Aaron Rodgers looks to have found a step in the last few weeks. Aaron Rodgers has had 2 to 3 weeks of better than average play, and he's stunk prior to the last 2 or 3 weeks. So there's hope for Kirk, but Aaron Rodgers was doing this, Kirk did a little bit of this, and then he was doing this. He was at a nosedive. Okay, so like KK mentioned, that injury for that age of a player is very, very serious and affects them more than they realize. And clearly, man, they got some bad product in Kirk Cousins because of that Achilles.
Hey, well, he's not going to recover, and that's true. I understand. That's true. The difference between Aaron Rodgers and Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers is a cocky guy that got him into some trouble early in the season. He's a cocky guy. He's overconfident. He's trying to fit balls into windows that he shouldn't be doing. He has the arm talent, but just he doesn't have the locker room, so to speak, in my opinion. But with Kirk Cousins, I see skill set diminishing. Skill set. So, yeah, it's a tough injury, but I don't see, and that's another thing that's boding against the Atlanta Falcons. I don't see anybody that's going to want to trade for Kirk Cousins and take on $27 to $30 million. I just don't see it. I don't see Kirk Cousins as a QB1 in the National Football League anymore.
Low country talk right here. Good time, Grego. They still the Falcons, and they built that stadium over them churches. Church.
She did it. She did say the sorry ass Falcons is what she said. She can't believe they took money from them. Took money from those churches, man. And I mean, that's right. I mean, until then, what's going to happen? I think we need to apologize, Stu.
Oh, yeah, they way past that right now. Adrian Williams-Penix will extend plays and get them in the position to win. I think he's going to be a much better player, man. I think the Falcons are going to find a way to get into that at a minimum wild card spot, man. I still think they can win this division, man, because they beat Tampa twice, right?
Yes.
Oh, I mean,
but you need help. But you need help.
You're going to need help, but it's still under your control if you do what you're supposed to do.
No, it's not, brother.
Well, why not, Joe?
You can win out and go 10-7 because the Washington Redskins beat you.
That's the Skins.
The Skins
right.
up there only 5 losses, and
right.
then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have 3 bad teams: the Cowboys,
right.
the Panthers, and the Saints left.
Right.
So if they win on 3 of their games and you win on 3 of yours, then you're on the outside looking in.
Right. It's the Joe Show. It's the Joe Show. Your boy, one last two, Ron Stewart. Every Wednesday, Joe, we're thinking 9 o'clock right now until we figure out a time that's better, suitable for everybody. But I'm cool with this 9 o'clock vibe.
I feel good, brother. I feel good.
I'm good with
Tell me I don't have to go. Tell me I don't have to go.
And you don't. You got to go on Mike Vick, though. How excited are you about seeing Mike Vick? Before we talk about your excitement for seeing Mike Vick, how does this work? Has he been coaching at some high school, some charter school, someplace? How did he find himself as the new head coach of Norfolk State in Virginia?
The same way Jeff Saturday found himself coaching for the Indianapolis Colts.
Favor.
Out of media, out of television, the same way. Right. Call it nepotism, call it favor. But Mike Vick knows the game of football. Mike Vick in the NIL era is going to draw more eyes, is more attention, more recruits to Norfolk State. You know for a fact that he loves his hometown. He's repped that university a lot of times. He gives them a lot of shout outs.
This is a freaking amazing story. I'm thinking about what happened to Vick years ago and how he's rebounded in beyond a remarkable way. And there's ebbs and flows in everybody's life. We're going to talk about, while we're doing the show, we're going to talk about a little bit of ours, I'm sure. But what that young man has done and the position that he is in is nothing short of the grace of God and nothing but dedication and hard work and belief in yourself. It is amazing what he's done in the last 5 years of his life.
Most people, including myself, that goes through adversity, Stu, and mess up publicly and do some things for the public to see, they kind of crumble. They kind of come back and they kind of be, in the back, hiding away from anybody or hiding away from the spotlight. Mike Vick did everything but do that. He's on Fox at 12 noon. He's got his camp going on. He's with the kids, telling kids about the mistakes he made and don't make the mistakes he's made. And now I'm firmly believe, I know Mike Vick, and I hadn't talked to him since the hire, but I'm firmly believe that when he goes in his press conference, he's going to start off by saying, this is all about the kids. I want to give back to the kids. I want to help the kids. Am I sure that Mike Vick is going to succeed at Norfolk State? No, I don't know, because he's going to have to hire a great staff. I don't see Mike Vick calling plays on the sideline as far as X's and O's. Yes, he knows how to, coach an offense. He knows how to coach the X's and O's about a wide receiver in the line of scrimmage. But calling plays, I don't necessarily see him do that. I see him being a CEO.
Let me stop you real quick. That's perfect. Just from the great Naughty Dread. He wishes MV well 7, but he said he doesn't know how he's qualified to coach Norfolk State. Maybe he can sell tickets, but he don't see how he's qualified. Please talk to that, because you and I spoke about that earlier today before we started the show. Please talk about that real quick. That's a great question, Naughty Dread.
Well, in the huddle, in the game, in the film room, being around some really, really good coaches. Andy Reid, he was around Andy Reid. He was around Dan Reeves when he first was an Atlanta Falcon. He's learned how to, captivate a locker room. And when you're doing that and you're first starting off, you hire people around you that can guide you, that can lead you. No, he's never been on the sideline. He's never been a coordinator. It's going to take some time, but that's goals. I have to put my foot. I have to answer that question just like I would answer it for myself. think I can coach.
Yep.
Right now.
I know you can. We know you can. And, I mean, you have, and we know you can. But I understand exactly what you're saying. And I got a great example or illustration I'm going to present when you get done. But go ahead.
Yeah, so it goes back to Mike Vick knowing his strengths and he knows his weaknesses. He all he needs to do now is sell a program, sell a philosophy. What are you going to run Mike Vick on offense? Don't worry about the defense right now. Your defensive coordinator, he's going to handle this. He should come out and say, we're going to be an attacking team. We're going to be a high-scoring team on offense. We're going to go and get all the best skill positions we can possibly get. And oh, by the way, as a quarterback, I'm going to develop you, not to my liking. I'm going to develop you as far as being a quarterback that can succeed on the next level. And I'm going to make sure you get the degree.
Right. I see, in my humble opinion, you got defensive-minded head coaches. You've got offensive-minded head coaches. And you got a handful of coaches that are managers of men.
Yes.
They know football and they're managers of men. And there's not really many houses. Hey, mama. There's not really many houses that little mama walked in. Come here, baby. Good night, baby.
Oh, that's outstanding. That's outstanding.
There's not too many coaches that are going to be able to do more than Deion Sanders when it comes to recruiting a kid, Bill Belichick now when it comes to recruiting a kid, and I'm gonna throw his name on the list right now, Michael freaking Vick. I mean, there's gonna be top tier athletes, and these guys aren't even going to have to go to high school to do it. They're going to be able to do it out of the portal. Those names and those people and those players are institutions within their own. And they're going to be a pipeline to the next level for any member of their squad.
I'm 50-50.
Any player on their team, they're going to have an upper leg on something that's going to help them at the next level.
Nah, I'm 50-50 on that, Stu. I'm 50-50 on that.
What better recruiting tip do you need?
Well, you need a lot better. I mean, you can get a lot better. You can get a lot better because you tell me, what is Mike Vick going to sell? Okay, so I'm thinking about this, and I know Mike Vick had the Mike Vick experience.
He's Mike Vick.
No.
Again.
No. I mean, you can't compare Mike Vick to Deion Sanders. You cannot compare him to Deion Sanders because Deion Sanders can tell specifically a DB that I can get in there and I can coach you up to be a DB. I can know the inside technique, the jam hand, how to read routes and routes combination. Are you saying that Mike Vick can be a quarterback guru? What's his pitch? Now, I'm not saying he does not have a pitch, but what is his pitch to come in and go in the living room?
We talk about this all the time. And the reason why I will submit to a lot of your thoughts is because you played the quarterback position. And at that position, not only do you know every intricate part and detail of the offense, most good quarterbacks, such as yourself, that finds themselves winning as many games as you did, putting up the numbers and yards that you did, spending time with Peyton Manning, most guys like that, those type of guys are cerebral. They know defense just as well. That's why they're so good on offense. So I see Vick as that. That's why he excelled at offense like he did. So he's more than just a quarterback. I see him mentally like other quarterbacks like Romo that knows football and can explain it.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
I see that. I see that in him. So yeah, Deion's got a foot up because he's Deion. He's a Hall of Famer. But Vick's got a foot up too. He's one of the best quarterbacks that we've ever seen at that position.
Yeah, and keep in mind, though, Stu, keep in mind, and I'm with you, and that's why I'm giving it a 50-50. Keep in mind that he's not going to Norfolk State to be a quarterback's coach. I'm with you with being the quarterback's coach and developing those guys. He's going there to be the head honcho, and sometimes the head honcho takes experience of leading and guiding a team, talking to the parents, talking to nutrition staff, talking to the weight room staff, talking to the academic staff, all those things that he's going to have to learn. And I don't see him unless he hits the ground running very quick and has some tutelage. Where's his tutelage? Where has been his tutelage?
You don't think Deion's the ultimate mentor, which makes him so great. You don't think Vick's going to be the ultimate mentor? That's what he's doing with his life. So now he gets to take it to the field where all that energy and all that knowledge and all that time spent and served, all those blood, sweat, and tears, he gets to give that to these kids that's going to be to 25 kids a year that's going to be on his team. He's going to make them move mountains. He's going to make them move mountains, and you know it. And that's what the majority of this is about, because the kids that he's going to be talking to are going to be superior athletes, because he's going to get to choose from the best. That's why Deion is being so successful. He's got not just the best athletes, but he can talk to them and make them see and understand things in ways that Bill Belichick can't, even though we know Bill Belichick does it from a different angle, which that's why he's on that mountain along with Deion when it comes to this college game that he's now in. There's something that they have that others just don't have. Mike Vick has that too. So hire a great offensive coordinator, hire a good defensive coordinator, hire a good DB. He's going to be surrounded by the best because he can handpick them. I read that Norfolk State's got all this money and they're building a new stadium, and this is the perfect move for them.
Yeah. More is going to be on his plate that you're explaining. And I'm with you with all those things. There's nothing I can say that I disagree with, but you're going to have to look at the flip side of it as well. Yes, positively. If you're talking about Mike Vick coming in just to coach and mentor that way, yes, man, he's got a lot on his shoulders as a head coach. Boosters, money, NIL, collective. And even Deion, guys, Deion coached high school for a long time. And he was able to school he was able to recruit at that school. Deion was been in the game.
Vick will be doing all that stuff in his 20th year. Right now, that's not even going to be of his concern. His team will.
What is his number one concern? What is his number one current concern, Stu?
It's going to be that team and those players. He knows football. We know he knows football. And he's been in NFC Championship games. We took 12 fans to Philadelphia to the vet. We were there. Yeah, I saw him the following year in Green Bay. He's got that for them kids, man. He's got.
Stu, you're looking at it too broadly. You're looking at it too broadly, brother.
Okay.
And here's why. Has Mike Vick been named the head coach already?
Yes.
So yes. And come the first Wednesday in February, Mike Vick is going to have a signing class. Right now, before this weekend is out, Mike Vick is going to have a press conference. After that press conference, he's going to get on a private jet. He's going to be going somewhere to recruit his first recruiting class. This is old time this week, the rest of the week, and next week. He's going to be studying film about how guys in the transfer portal, guys in high school now that he wants on his team. He hasn't done that yet. And oh, by the way, he's going to have to be interviewing guys that he wants on his staff, whether they're going to be coming from another school or not. Those are the things that's going to be on his plate right away.
Joe, you talking about 2024, and I'm ashamed because I'm actually talking about 2030 right now. He ain't going nowhere. They know this is a project. They are hiring him. They know what they know. They know his story.
See, you go hedging again.
I'm not hedging anything.
I told
you're talking short. You're talking short term. This ain't a 2-year situation for Mike Vick at Norfolk State.
No, it's not.
And with his notoriety, he's going to have time because they'll be spoken of whenever he's mentioned. And he's Mike Vick. I think you're not looking at the grand scale of this thing when it comes to certain players and certain names.
Stu, that's an outstanding point. Yes, that's an outstanding point.
And you and I debated that.
That's good.
Deion ain't just Coach Sanders. He's freaking Deion Sanders, and we got to remember he's Deion Sanders. That matters because he's Deion.
That's a good point. Mike Vick is going to get the
This is Mike
opportunity.
Vick.
He's going to get years to learn. He's going to be able to learn on the fly.
Damn
They're going
right.
to give him the resources that he needs. But again, we're going to have to see about X's and O's. We're going to have to see about timeouts. We're going to have to see about managing the game. We're going to have to see about all that. But you're absolutely right. He's going to have time to build a program. No doubt about it.
I remember hearing Andy Reid say that after the first conversation he had with him that lasted like 2 or 3 hours, he was like, he's just as smart as Donovan, if not smarter.
Yeah,
what ended up happening? What ended up happening? Vic took that job. Man, I think you think he ain't just some jock. This dude is who he is because of his football acumen.
Yes. Yes.
And he happens to be he's like, hey man, Vic named good in these streets with the people, man.
Yes.
Yeah. What room is he not gonna walk into and a coach or someone holding court will say, hey Mike, you got anything you want to say? I mean,
no,
he gonna get the players that he want and need to build his team. And because of the portal, it ain't gonna take long at Norfolk State.
I would just caution. I would just caution to take caution. Juwan Howard, okay.
Yeah.
Mike Singletary. I mean, just those.
there's
Great players.
So many names. Yep.
It just doesn't automatically work out because you're an outstanding player on that football field and you have a great IQ. Michael Jordan, he didn't try to coach, but Irvin Magic Johnson tried to coach. Some of the guys just don't have it, and although they have a high IQ, when it comes down to coaching, the competitiveness of it sometimes get in your way. So I'm not saying he's not going to succeed, but I'm not saying anything about his playing career, which was magnificent. Just being a head coach is a different animal, brother.
The Jordan thing would definitely give me pause because you're right. When it comes to this level of it, he has had zero success. But when it comes to the backside of that thing, he's killing it. It can't get any better. So well done. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna give you a point on that one. I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, that Jordan piece. Yeah, because what my point is, the magnitude of said player makes them so huge they can get to the bodies that they need to transform whatever it is they need. Bill Belichick, Deion Sanders, and Michael Vick will have. Each one of them will have a top 10 quarterback in the country on their squad. Why not? Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? So my point is they get to hand pick because of who they are and what they mean to the next level, which is on every kid's mind that they're going to be recruiting or talking to. Every kid, the majority of the kids that they end up talking to are going to be these NIL players that's getting paid. So they're going to be in a position to make money and a position to get money if Deion, Belichick, or Vic wants them. But because their name is so big, that they're on Mount Rushmore of people when lists get put together, they'll get to have those players at positions they need. That's the difference, Joe.
Forgive me if I don't feel that way about Michael Vick quite yet, that he's going to have a top player, quarterback in the country on his team right away. You know, I mean, goodness, man, that's a tough ask. That's a tough ask. They want to be around him. They want his autograph, yes.
but that starts the conversation. That starts the conversation. If they want that autograph, which they will, that starts the conversation. Man, you know what we could do with you? Hey, I saw you like that quarterback waggle when you know what we could do for you. Let me show you something real quick. And if that conversation gets started, I mean, I've been recruited by Vinny Serrato. I've been recruited by these dudes, man. That come on, man, Joe Paterno and them dudes before the shady stuff started happening.
Yeah.
I've been on this phone with if you mention ice cream, they got somebody from Baskin Robbins on the phone in 15 seconds. And every time I've had a conversation with a Deion or a Michael Irvin or a person that may be a city councilman or a mayor or a person of stature, you give them your attention. and that's Mike Vick, whether it's the good, the bad, how he's going to mentor your. Every time I hear Deion say, he tells these parents, "You give me your child, I'm gonna give you back a man." I know that's what he's doing,
man. And you know what?
I know, and you know him too. You know that's what he's doing. He's putting the emphasis on school and wearing condoms and not drinking and smoking during season for certain people. He's putting the emphasis on that. He's done that. Live that.
I read a story today about Deion Sanders, and we've talked about the transfer portal and how it could be bad. And there's a way you go about doing it. There's a right way. And that right way, Stuart, and everybody listening, is to knock on that coach's door and say, "Coach, I don't know about my playing time. I want to see where I fit at next year. Talk to me about how you see about how you feel about me." And today, when Deion broke his practice today at Colorado, guess what he did, Stu Dog? Guess what he did? He said, "Hey, guys, that was a good practice, and I want to bring up," I forgot the gentleman's name, but it was number 42. "I want to bring 42. Come on. I want to break it down on him." And 42 was a guy that entered the transfer portal. But because he entered the transfer portal the right way, doing it like a man, talking to Deion like a man and saying his thoughts, Deion was like, "Hey, you didn't find anything out there? We welcome you back." And he said, "Glad to have you on this team." And basically, that was an example that gave me goosebumps, man.
Listen to what I'm saying. Deion will be a blessing to these players for that reason. He's not going to hold them there if they don't want to be there. He's not going to hold them there if somebody else is willing to pay them more money. He's going to tell them to go. He's going to want them to go. He's going to want them to take what's best for them. He's not going to approach this like the colonizers of the last 30 years has approached it. It's being viewed differently now. He told
this guy, "Go see what you can get, and if you can't get anything,
and guess
come
what?
on back."
And Joe, what happens if the guy that he told to go does find something better? What happens? Deion fills his shoes like that. He can only get 25 to 30 players a year.
And they're about to shrink that down a little bit.
His don't come from high school. It hadn't the last 2 years. But when it was coming from high school, it was the high school player of the years. You remember the roster? Oh, yeah. He just brought a kid in that went to HBCU with him that won the Heisman. They can handpick who they want, and they'll get the right kids. They've been coaching these 7-on-7 teams. Deion's had a little league team for the last 20 years. He know these kids. So does Vick.
Not the same. Oh, you said so does Vick?
So does Vick.
That's not factual. That's not factual.
Okay.
He hadn't been around the coaching scene. Now he's been around, broadcasting, but he has not been around the coaching scene.
The kids are the players. It's the kids. They're listening to the music. They're watching Sports Center. They're reading the sports. They're getting the magazine. It's the kids. They know Mike Vick. He can get a conversation with any kid he wants.
I agree with that.
And that's half the battle. I didn't get on the phone with every coach. A lot of them didn't get past my mom and dad. If I didn't have any interest, I didn't talk to them. Why would I talk to them if I have no interest? Yeah, but if Mike Vick calls me, when Lou Holtz called me, when Joe Paterno called me, I had time. When Bobby Ross called me, I had time. when Doug Williams called me, I had time. That's all. It's relationships, not what you know, who you know. It's relationships. Who you know, who you want to know. How can I help him? How can he help me? That's how this thing works. Who better to be able to get to somebody that can get to that person? Just 2 phone calls from Mike Vick. Just 2 phone calls. He'll have on the phone whoever he wants.
No doubt about it. He's going to have to close. He's going to have to close at that point, though. He's going to have to do some things. Stu, I agree with everything you're saying. But that's in a nutshell, brother. What you're saying is in a nutshell is way bigger, way more responsibility to getting on the phone.
I got to let you get out of here, man. Wonderful night tonight, man. Playoff football going down. 12 teams will start their journey this week. Of course, the number 1 seeds don't. Who you like this weekend? What you excited about this weekend when it comes to college football?
Well, I'll tell you this, man. I'm so excited about the first year college playoff 12 team and they'll be able to get on campuses. That's all I have to say about this weekend.
Crazy.
Starting off Friday night and a
in
night
January,
game.
a home game in a home game at the Horseshoe,
A home game at Texas.
a home game at Texas,
Happy Valley.
Oh gosh,
Notre
it's
Dame.
gonna be incredible.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Versus Indiana.
Indiana, man. I know you're gonna be looking all over this. I would put Indiana against the spread on this, brother. I would have Indiana against the spread. They're gonna play rugged. And remember, I said this now, and I'll continue to say it. I have the Ohio State Buckeyes winning it all.
I think you're crazy.
I know you do.
Yeah,
but that's
they
okay,
don't win
man.
Unfortunately, they don't win big games. They've shown me that they don't win big games.
Yeah, what do you do when your back is against the wall? Their back is against the wall right now.
It is.
Better come out clawing and scratching.
Coach Ryan Day's back is literally against the wall. Hey, man, it's been great, man. Before we get out of here, man, put these folks in the huddle with you, Joe.
Yeah, man, I want these guys to get in the huddle, man. You, Stu, too. You as well, Stu. Real quickly, I just want to talk about there are two pains in life. There are two pains: the pain of discipline, right, and the pain of regret. You're gonna live one or the other out. And I would just egg on everybody on to choose the pain of discipline. The pain of discipline is just like lifting weights. It's just like running a mile. It's just like being sore after a hard day's work. It's just about adversity, overcoming. That's not going to last always. You're going to eventually get that soreness out. You're going to eventually recover from the tiredness. You're going to eventually get things back in order if you choose the pain of discipline. But if on the flip side, if you choose the pain of regret, oh my goodness, that's when you wish I should have, could have. That's when you didn't wake up early in the morning. That's when you didn't do the little things. That's when you did not sacrifice for the better of yourself and the better of the team. That's going to live with you forever. You ask any old soul. You ask Joe Hamilton. You ask Ryan Stewart. Do you have any pains of regret? Those things live for you forever. Forever. That does not go away. If you have those two pains, and the pain of discipline and the pain of regret, just choose that pain, temporary pain, as far as, the pain of regret, which lasts a lifetime, and it's going to eat you up when you look at that man in the mirror, man. Choose the pain of discipline, and everything will work all right.
In the huddle with your boy, Joe Hamilton. It is the Joe Show. I'm one last student, Ryan Stewart. I will see you all in the morning. Thank everybody in the chat room. A+ to y'all. Thank y'all very much, man. Thank y'all so very much. Can't thank you enough. Lovely Ollie Michelle. She's back there. As a matter of fact, I got to bring her back on real quick. Tell everybody bye, Ollie. She done let her
See y'all in the morning.
She done did her lips and all.
I did.
Ain't that crazy? Yes, you did.
This was already on. You were so busy looking at the knots on my head, you messed it up.
Dre, we appreciate you, Dre. Thank you very much, man.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Good stuff.
Joe, I'm not sure how we'll do the next few shows, especially with the end of the year, but the Joe Show will be on Wednesdays, right around 9 o'clock these days, following the No Show on Stewart Media Entertainment. Everybody that's on, thank you very much. God bless you all. Happy holidays to y'all, and I will see you all in the morning when the Two Live Stews jump on to do the Two Live Stews experience on Stewart Media and Entertainment. Peace, y'all.
What is
My shirt I got from Real Scott.
What? Sorry.
Damn real hustling. Real hustling.
All I see is
Nice
football.
shirt, man. Good quality. I like it. Love this shirt.
It don't shrink.
Shout out to Rail.